Welcome to episode 16 of the Bear Tiger podcast. Today I'm joined by James Slate.
Howdy.
And Joshua White.
Hello, mate.
So we're just rewatching some of the highlights. James and I watched the European golf yesterday. Let's get straight into it today with the DP World Tour. Massive drama week this week. It's like keep your card week. Spoke to a couple of the managers that have been out there, so it was very, very tense. And there was a bit of drama on the last day. But let's start with Jordan Smith, 30 under par.
I know Josh mentioned, to be fair, you've both had a few calls in the previous pods about players that you said were to watch, and Josh had mentioned Jordan, and I know you've both grown up and played with him.
I don't think I have.
What?
Have I had any calls?
Yeah, you called Thomas Dietrich was going to come good.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Lovely.
And he did. We'll talk about that in a minute. And obviously paying quite close attention, Wisley member, but you've always said how much of a pure ball striker he is.
He's...
and it's a proper clinic this week as well. Yeah, 30 under par, round of Victoria. Previous scoring record was 25. I mean, he's just taken it by the throat, hasn't he? And just had one.
Yeah, he's just someone that I always played with when I was growing up, and still now when I see it, he just absolutely rips it for me. When you just play with players and you just think that's different. That I remember playing with him at tour school, and he just absolutely flagged everything, like every single shot. I was just like, he's a robot. And yeah, if you play that well, and then all of a sudden the putter gets hot, that is seriously dangerous. And as you can tell, 30 under. No surprise.
He come out the blocks, didn't he? Super quick when he got his card. Did he not win in his first season in his rookie year, or he jumped up the rankings super quick, didn't he? And then as he just
I'm not sure if he won his first year, but he was definitely good, wasn't he, for the first 3 years?
Didn't he win Euro Pro, and then he won Challenge Tour, then obviously onto the European Tour, then won. Was this his second win?
Second win, yes.
Yeah. So then he did win. I think it was it Czech.
He won the Porsche Open in Germany.
In Germany, sorry.
Yeah.
So it's just steady, isn't it? And then now to win again.
I mean, after all the controversy with did he or didn't he win the double early in the year to go and then get the Portuguese Masters?
He didn't win the double. He tied for the double trophy, the Pro-Am at Wisley.
With ZS?
Yeah, he did try to do a little runner with the money.
Yeah, exactly.
The count back, but
probably a pretty decent motor after this season as well.
Yeah, he gave that back, so that's fine. Yeah, statistically, he was very, very good this week. He was 16th in driving accuracy, 24th in driving distance, which is a good mix, and then second in greens in regulation, hitting 94.4% of the greens, which means he didn't miss many. We've been watching it a little bit again this morning, along with yesterday, and it was quite soft, and it was preferred lies. But you still got to do it, and if you're 30 under, you probably not miss many greens, really, have you?
Yeah.
But it is a tournament which has notoriously low scoring, which is a bit of a funny one for a week, which means so much to so many of the players to keep their card. This is the last event before going into the DP World, and there was a bit of drama yesterday. There was obviously drama at the top of Jordan getting to minus 30, which was kind of the goal, really. He looked like he was going to win, although it wasn't as if he was winning by 8 shots. He was still always 2, 3, 4 ahead, which could have turned on its head. But he was very relentless because he wasn't dropping any shots. He bogeyed the last in the third round, but nothing in the last round. So it was quite cool to watch someone try to get to minus 30. It's a bit of a holy grail, isn't it, really? I think as a professional golfer, you probably think, maybe to shoot at 59, that's one thing you chase, and then over 4 rounds, getting to minus 30 puts you in a different bracket.
Right, okay.
Player. James, you said that he beat the scoring record there by 5 shots, and Ernie has got to minus 30 before.
Yeah, I'm sure he had the record, and I think someone else actually beat it in Portugal again, and then obviously now he's done 30 there. But I know Ernie had a couple of low ones.
It was Jimenez, I think, who held the previous scoring record with 25. But I mean, and also just quickly, hats off to Gavin Green, who shot 27. If you think, and if you're on the first tee on a Thursday and someone says you're going to beat the scoring record here by 2 shots this week, you probably think you're walking home with a trophy and an exemption for a couple of years, didn't you? So,
you do, yeah.
I mean, historically, the course has brought so much this competition in it. Obviously, where Fish had the 59, there's been so many things that happen around it. I mean, such low scoring, and then to deliver a 30 under par as well is pretty special.
Yeah, beyond special, I would say. And then there was a bunch of players right behind that who were trying to keep their card. And there was a little bit of drama, but nobody who really needed that big week actually took that big week in the end. The one we were discussing before was the Frenchman Lacroix.
Lacroix, yeah.
And Paratore playing together, come to the last hole. Lacroix was ahead of Paratore, and they were both outside that top, the Magic 117. And Lacroix was up and down it for fun the last few holes, hanging on.
You could tell the nerves were just kicking in, couldn't you? But to be fair, I think, to give him credit to play himself into position, I think he was 8 under for his round on the 18th tee.
Yeah, his best finish, he hasn't had a top 5 all season. And to get himself in that position on the last event when he really needed that, I mean, that's a step in the right direction to begin with.
Do you think that's a focus thing? Like there's something that he needs to reassess for the tournaments going forward. There is something there that's obviously like switched him on.
You see it quite a lot as you get towards the end of the season. I think what happens is you spend most of the season trying to work out what's the formula for what I need to do to keep my card or to do well. And then you go into working on stuff thinking you've got loads of time. And then everyone who's on the tour has got a really good game anyway. And at some point, towards the back end of the season, it just moves into just accepting what you've got and making the most out of that rather than trying to change it and improve it. Because this always happens. I think it just gets to a point where it's just like, fuck, I've not got time to work on this anymore. I've just got to
score.
I've got to do work with what I've already brought here and get on with that. And then they seem to then step up, and then you go into that whole process as well. Should have done that at the beginning.
Yeah. Have
a couple of weeks off over the winter, then go back into exactly the same cycle that you would have done before. Sam Little is a guy that we used to play with. He 2 or 3 times finished top 5 in the last event to keep his card, and everyone would say to him, "Why don't you just play that from the first event?" But it's different energies. When you turn up in Abu Dhabi early in the year, you just go, "Oh, I'm back on tour and I've got all this time and it's all relaxed again." And then gets to the end of the year, smaller events, and they need to you got to play even better to get the bigger checks because they're smaller money, and you're able to do it. But somehow just finding that intensity.
Yeah. Or on the flip side, you get in early and maybe you get a bit complacent. Maybe not complacent, but it just doesn't start happening for you at the end of the year, or you start playing nicely and maybe you take too many weeks off. You never know. It's such a hard thing to manage. You think someone like Bear at the start of the season, he was cruising, right? He was just always in and around the top 60, looking like he was going to go to Dubai, and ended up finishing 150, I
always remember when I was at last stage of tour school and Ed Wildeye Molinari was there, and he got his card that year. But at the start of the year, on the tour, he knew that he wasn't playing well enough and he didn't like his swing or however he was performing. So he took the rest of the year out to change his swing, to just basically said, "I'm going to lose my card. That's it. I'm happy to do that." But he changed his game and his swing and everything that he wanted to do, went straight to tour school and then got his card for the following year.
Yeah. Mental.
That is some.
He is a bit crazy about it. He is a bit extra, and weird enough. So he now does stats for quite a lot of the players.
Is he really?
Yeah. So he helps Fitzy with stats. So he's got his own system. The decade system, and then there's Mark Brody has his system. So so he collates all that data. They send him the data, and then he creates the reports on what they need to work on.
Nice.
Yeah, which is quite interesting. To be out there helping your peers. I mean, pretty clever, I suppose. I'm presuming he takes a bit of a percentage, so he's getting paid whatever. But yeah, he's become very, very popular, and a bit like Boise does.
Yeah. Boise boy.
With Tommy Fleetwood, he managed all their stats, and Fitzy obviously took that information and turned it into a major championship win, which is pretty damn impressive. Yeah, there were some other stories. Youth Luton coming up just shy. He finished. So 117 is where he had to finish, or in the top 117. Youth Luton needed a top 3. He ended up finishing 6th. So he got to 126 on the standings, and he was another one. Obviously not being quite at the races this year, but played great yesterday. And he's such an aggressive player. You just scratch your head and think, how has this guy lost his card? Watching the type of golf that he was playing. But James, talk us through the Paratore who thought he needed to birdie the last to get his card.
Yeah, I mean he's quite a fiery player anyway, isn't he, Renato? The way he sort of trots around, and he'd got a break off the tee actually because he'd pushed his drive. It's like semi-wanged it. He'd managed to find kind of a bit of what looked like, like that kind of grass you get in Portugal in the rough where it burns out a bit, it just sits on top. It's almost like a tea peg. So he's got a great lie, and he's not all of a sudden got a shot. He's tried to send it out right. It's left pin, water left. So it's not really a pin you ever look at, unless you can just try and. I think you look in the middle of the green and just try and shape it, sort of thing, try and catch a bit of the slope. But again, he's held it out right. He's got 65 feet. It was just like a carbon copy of a Justin Waters moment a couple of years ago when that really emotional hole out, and then Obviously, he's playing with Lacroix, who at the time, he's also got himself into a position where he'll know that he's right in the mix as well. And this is potentially like a two-shot swing here, because Lacroix's got a chip from the rocks and Paratori's got a putt across the green. Paratori cans it from 65 feet, and all of a sudden Lacroix's like, shit, actually, hang on a second, this guy might actually have just taken 117 and I've now got an 18-footer. And Lacroix was the same. I struggled. I've never really heard of this guy. Look at his game. His putting stroke is pure. Like he really strokes it nicely. Swing looks good. And he's 8 under through 17 holes. You're sitting there thinking, just as like a golf fan, like, how are you struggling to keep your card? It just shows how competitive it is out there, And then he's got into the middle of the fairway, fairly simple shot for him, kind of chip it up to 25 feet and 2-putt and run away and, hope the gods are on your side. Pulls it left. Everybody thinks it's in the rocks. It stays inside the line by about 3 inches. But as soon as he got down there, when I sort of talked to the both of you guys about preparation and just like visualize the shot, he just looked like he wanted to hit this chip like it was speed golf. He was just running up there. He got a wedge in his hand, like pushed his caddy away, and he's just like one practice swing, bang, and he didn't chunk it, but he just not got the heart rate down. And when we were talking the other week about if you had a whoop on, I reckon he's probably at about 150, 155 here. Just breathe, do a little 4 in, 4 out nudge, and he's pushed it past the hole, and then he's lipped out his putt, and and he's probably at that point knows he's in a bit of bother. And I think subsequently he actually said they both lost their cards, right? But it was a really cool moment where you think someone's got a 65-footer and he's like, I need to can this to have any chance to keep my card. And little right to left up the hill is pretty impressive.
Cool for us.
I mean, I don't know what the point system, how exactly how it works, how it equates to Euros. But Paratori finished 118, so one spot outside the mark. He's played 29 times this year, so he's gone all out and tried to get the numbers up on how many times he's played, which is quite a lot. There's not many of tipped over 30, and he fell 2.3 points short of Sebastian Garcia Rodriguez to lose his car, which will be really, really painful.
I think that is 2,300 euros.
Is that right? There, that's not very much in the grand scheme of 29 tournaments. And then right behind him is Alfredo Garcia Heredia, who I played a lot of amateur golf with. Really good player. There was a bit of controversy for him because he was the first reserves to get into Wentworth, and his mate Sergio Garcia decided to come and play one round, shoot 75, and then not even turn up for the second round at Wentworth, which meant Alfredo didn't get in.
Wow.
Again, like if he'd have gone there, just making the cut, he would have kept his card. Bit further down, got Dave Horsey. I'm not sure if Dave Horsey, if he'll have an exemption. I would say he hasn't lost his car very often, Dave. Do you know, Josh?
I'm not sure if he's got an exemption.
Yeah,
he was playing this week. The one I was looking out for was the other Wisley member who was right on the mark was Ricardo Gouveia, and I thought, he's Portuguese Masters. He was.
I should give him a bye to the weekend.
Yeah. Well, no, he shot 5 under round 1, and he must have done something. He must have had a bit of a blow up in the second round.
Yeah, he had a bit of a mare. Yeah,
because he was 5 under round 1. I was thinking, okay, he had a good week.
Cruising, 122. He finished, so just outside.
What was the cut this week?
Well, it was 5 under. I think
it was 5. Yeah,
it's not mad low actually. It's been lower, especially if you drop down to the Challenge Tour, a 4 or 5 under cut is quite normal.
Yeah, but do you not think when the scoring is this low and when you go into an event, do you think it's almost harder to win? Because sometimes you play a hard course,
4 undercut. Sorry,
people will make mistakes. So pars, you can get away with pars, but there you can't get away with pars. You just got to make a ton of birdies all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't really play into the hands of Jordan Smith has played exemplary and he's set a record score, but it does let a lot of other people in.
Yeah, because
you don't have to be quite on your game. You can wang it about a little bit and get away with it. Whereas when it's obviously really tough, that's why the majors are so great, because they're the hardest courses. So the best golfer always comes to the fore. Whereas there could be people in the top 10 and maybe not played. Maybe their game's not as sharp as the others, but they come out, they do well, finishing inside that top 10.
I think quite a lot of the commentary team were actually saying, you obviously know his game quite well, but a lot of the commentary team was sort of saying this guy's like a robot. His golf swing's so repeatable. With Jordan Smith, there's just an expectation for him now to get his short game maybe to that that level that you expect to see a top 50 player at, and I don't know if there's anything wrong with his short game. I think that's just what their assessment is, because his tee to green swing looks so rock solid. He's not the longest on tour, but he's not short. He hits it 300 yards. He doesn't look like he ever really misses a fairway.
He's 27th in driving distance.
Yeah,
he's 23rd in accuracy, and he's second in greens and regulation. So his long game's
total driving.
On.
Yeah, I mean
the whole long game's absolutely bang on, and then stroke average is number 2. So
is that this week though?
That's for the season.
Using the claw grip, isn't he? He's been using the claw grip this week. I haven't noticed him using that. I don't know when he changed to that.
I mean, the putting stats don't really. These stats on the site are not that great. They're putts average putts per round, which is nonsense really. And then you got putts per greens in regulation, which just doesn't really tell the story fully. It maybe tells some of the story, but it's 171st and 130th in putting. So that would be the area you would think, but those stats may be on the back of the fact he hits a lot of greens. So it doesn't always tell the full.
He's also been with his coach Shanksy
script
for a long time, hasn't he? And they've done a great job.
What a great name for a coach.
I know,
Shanksy.
But he always puts before the event on the, doesn't he? On the Wednesday, he puts a photo up and he goes, "Moving well." But to be fair, he's always moving well.
Moving well, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's impressive. So Dave Horsey probably going to lose his card there. Brandon Stone, that's a bit of a surprise. Played 27 events there, finished 129.
He normally gets it done early, down in South Africa. He's normally really money in his own country.
Yeah.
Who's that? Sorry,
Brandon Stone.
Yeah,
it's that little slingy draw.
There's obviously some bigger names down, but they don't play full time on the DP World Tour. But then people in around who have kind of kept it. Henrik Stenson, just 8 events. He did enough to keep his card. Whether he will keep that after the appeal, we don't know. But 2 other names, Jazz Jane Wattenanond. Needed to make the cut this week.
Who, mate?
Jazz Jane Wattenanond.
Good work.
Needed to make the cut this week to keep his card, and he did it. I think he kept it made the cut on the mark.
Jazz did.
Yeah, he had about a 15, 16 foot putt on Friday, which he just needed to just literally baby up. And all the commentators were like, nothing silly. He just dollied it up to the hole to get him through to the weekend. So he kept his card. And then a slightly interesting story, Victor de Buisson, who's obviously quite a popular character, doesn't play that much. He finished 115 and just withdrew this week. Like on the mark, on the bubble, maybe had some sort of injury, but just decided not to play.
That is
Took the week off, and he was bouncing around on that bubble mark, and nobody passed him, so he kept his card in just to build the legend even further.
Is he? I think he's not quite as successful in his own right, but he reminds me a little bit like Ronnie O'Sullivan. Like he's he's quite open about he doesn't enjoy golf that much. It's kind of a bit like a job, and when he wants to go
fishing, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's it. I was going to say when he wants to go to work, he's like, I'll practice for a week and I'll go and play and see what happens.
I've heard bits of that. Like Cameron Smith's a bit like that. Doesn't enjoy playing golf. Just does it as little as he can. He's obviously doing pretty well at it.
What?
It works out
Yeah,
right.
honestly. Yeah.
But that's mental, because you and I watched him. He was the longest person on the range at the Masters by a mile. Like he hit balls for half an hour longer than anyone else.
I think when you're at the tournament, it's all right though, isn't it? Like, what else are you going to do? It's like you just stand in the range.
Yeah.
Whereas, but maybe around it, you haven't got if you're at a tournament, you just there hitting balls just to.
Yeah.
And also, if you can't, I'm sure he likes being at the Masters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's very good round there, isn't he? Like, yeah. But I mean,
he probably just doesn't want to play in the small events. Which, moving across to the PGA Tour, was a bit of a smaller event this week. Not many of the big players are there out in Bermuda.
A smaller event, $6.5 million purse. Like it's still. I mean,
I listened to a bit of the no laying up boys this morning, and they were literally ripping the arse out of the PGA Tour for this event. Like it shouldn't exist and whatever else, and like there's some names in it you don't know and stuff like that. But these are the events for the younger guys that are coming through, or the people that have worked their way up all the way through the Corn Ferry, and this is their time. Like it's a perfect opportunity for them. Like people should enjoy it for that, and it's not a small event. Like, exactly like you say, 6.5 mil.
Well, I think that is more of an issue of the PGA Tour, not the players. Like the PGA Tour should build a bit of better stories around different elements of the game, because at the top, when we're watching the CJ Cup, watching Rory go at it, like we're all sitting there going like, this is great, and the PGA Tour don't have to do anything, just let Rory do his thing and everyone's like buzzing. But like I really think that the cut, there should be like a cut story every week. They could make more of a thing out of that, but I think that's kind of what they're going towards with these elevated events, hopefully, with the elevated events have the PGA Tour, they start to build the story of the lower events around it. Because as you say, there's loads of stories during Bermuda.
Yeah.
Guys that just got their cards, it's a big week for them, but we don't, as fans, you're a little bit, if it's not Rory or Victor Hovland or something like that, you're, who are these guys?
Yeah, I agree. But I think you also need them lower events for the bigger ones to be as special as they are.
Exactly.
If you know what I mean.
Which is the story that needs to be told on them.
Yeah.
On those. Because like it or not, like you said, like the No Laying Up boys, and the same for us. Like, who watched it? We didn't watch it.
I watched some of it because
you flick it on, then you flick it off. You're not gripped to it. Like you grip to the. Normally we're a bit like that about the DP World at the moment. This is the first time we've had a week on the DP World, which has been interesting. But the last 6 weeks, we're more than happy to like flick it on, flick it off.
Yeah, but it's just because you're busy, aren't you? It's like Halloween weekend, you got kids and stuff, and it's accessible. I haven't watched any Live Golf. I haven't seen any of the last 3 events because it's actually a bit too arduous to actually get involved with the content. I end up just watching highlights on Twitter.
There's no stories. There's no it's kind of part of sport. Is like there was a piece this week that James you were chatting about with Sebastian Heisel, who has been on a bit of a journeyman pro for a while, a German guy, and decided that he was going to quit this week. And he was doing an interview with Tim Barter, and he kind of dropped that in the interview, and he was doing well. He's going to the last round in contention. And he starts crying, has to stop and whatever. But that's kind of what sport's all about. As much as it's meant to him to do that. Whereas, there's no people are not telling the stories. Like that Bermuda event, like there would have been, Seamus Power winning and so forth. There would have been stories in there, but we just don't hear about it. So you don't want to watch it.
Sorry, just seeing a replay there. Jordan Smith hitting 5 wood to like 6 feet over the water. Like his golf swings are ridiculous.
What shaft was that? And his 5 wood there.
Fujikura, I think something like that.
I don't know. I think you made that up there. I think it
early on the shout, isn't he? There.
He's wearing a whoop as well. Whoop it. Whoop. 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 But what I found interesting about the PGA Tour this week, which I quite like about Bermuda, and you mentioned it, is like one of the things that's a little bit annoying about the golf in America is they follow the weather around the coast. So it's normally kind of flat, calm, or 8 mile an hour winds, and it becomes a bit more of a masterclass of ball striking and things like that because they're playing in like really, really good scoring conditions, whereby the wind was just going berserk like all week. And you actually saw quite a lot of players like really struggle. Like you see them wanging tee shots a bit more where they've lost a bit of control. I mean, you saw people putt from 7 feet and they'd leave it 2 foot short, or their speed was all over the place. And it was actually really good to see them sort of in the elements. It was a bit of a between Ben Griffin and Seamus Power. It was kind of who was going to make the least bogeys was going to win in the end. And it looked like obviously Seamus Power held on, but
he got it through, didn't he? What did he have? 4 bogeys in the last 5 holes.
And that Ben Griffin again was the same. He had 3 on the trot,
3 birdies or 3 bogeys.
3 bogeys on the trot. Right. He ended up making an 8-footer for par on one hole, which then tied him for the lead again because Power had made bogey. Then he gets on the tee of the next hole. It's like a bit over and under, like dogleg right to left. He's got 2 on in his hand, and just like hits it straight into Narnia.
Isn't I always find it mental.
Is that for a wardrobe? What's that?
The
Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, but you walk through the.
Is it for a wardrobe?
You walk through the wardrobe and you're in no man's land, aren't you? It's Narnia.
I always find it interesting. So, like looking at Seamus Power's card on the back 9, his last 6 holes, he's gone bogey, birdie, bogey, bogey, birdie, bogey. So he's dropped 4 bogeys in the last 6. If someone said that at the beginning of the week that you're going to have that many bogeys at the end of the round, you're going to win and you're going to finish minus 19,
bothered.
You wouldn't you'd be like, no, of course I won't. Like if someone said to get to 19 under par, you've had to play really flawless golf and you can't make any mistakes and so forth. Yet the time and time again, the story of how someone makes their tournament is so different to how you would think you would if someone gave it to you at the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, 19 under, that's a lot under par.
Yeah.
But there's so many, it just never seems to pan out exactly how you think it's going to go.
And we'll talk a little bit about your pick in a second. I hope this guy's not going to become a short game coach. D Greens it all the time.
Talking about Sebastian Heisel there.
But Seamus Power. So obviously, Zed, Luke Donald has got 3. He's got 3 automatics from World, 3 automatics from DP, and now he's got 6 picks now, which that feels new for me, like with a European captain. I always used to think historically it was 4, but is Seamus Power someone who comes into contention? Another player, we spoke about Sepp Straka last time, who's obviously gets out on the American tour and holds his own a little bit. Seamus Power, does get in contention probably a bit more than Sepp Straka, and then gone and got it over the line this week, taking advantage when some of the big boys are having a week off.
Yeah, he has been in the conversation with a few people's, in the industry kind of Ryder Cup picks. He's a winner again on the PGA Tour, good performer. And then obviously everyone loves the Irish, don't they? So I think, Shane Lowry's been a really good Ryder Cup performer. Rory McIlroy is another really good Ryder Cup performer in Irish. So yeah, he's definitely in the conversation.
And then obviously finishing second outright this week, you'd said he was one of your ones to watch, Thomas Dietrich, another player who I actually think he was one of your ones to watch as well for a Ryder Cup pick as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure I did put Thomas in my team.
I think he was an outsider, you said.
Maybe an outsider, yeah, exactly. I think he's been a bit liberated by going to the PGA Tour because he's obviously a bit of a star when he was an amateur turned professional. On the Challenge Tour, his first ever round, it was in Wales or Manchester on the Challenge Tour, and he shot a 60. His first ever round as a pro. So he can really, really play, minus 12. And he's kind of gone to the European Tour, and he's done well, but maybe not quite lived up to the complete star status that everyone's expected.
That was in Manchester, by the way.
Was it in Manchester?
I was playing, yeah.
There you go.
Cheers.
What did you shoot?
Oh God, I was going through a tough time at the time. I think he was beating me by about 15 after the first round.
Oh dear. Anyway, so and then going to the PGA Tour, he's been liberated. A bit of a restart, and the courses suit his game. No one knows him. A bit of anonymity, and he's got off to a great start. He's going to re-rank really well, and I think the only way is up here for Thomas Dietrich.
Well, last year 335 points kept your card on the PGA Tour. He's got 490 already this season, so he's probably quids in to keep his card. And I think you're right. He's a bomber. Like, he flights it really, really nicely. I think he's got a really nice demeanour. He's probably, like you said, taking advantage of the fact that he's not in the starlight of a lot of people's conversation. Just go about his business. And now he's probably sitting there thinking, okay, I've pretty much done enough to keep my playing status now, so I can kind of take the shackles off and really enjoy it. You probably see him go on and make another $1 million now. He's made $1 million already on the PGA Tour this season. Say
that to the LIV players, bothered.
But essentially, he's playing on house money now.
Yeah.
And another point to make about that is he plays in the Lions Den, the money games in Dubai that we play in. So how's that got something to do with it?
He didn't. He actually played the time I had my biggest win in the Den as well. So
we'll drop that one.
Yeah, well, it's important too.
Did you beat him?
Well, I got a skin. So.
Okay,
nice.
Got a skin.
5,000 dirham skin.
See,
cheers.
He played at Queenwood before he went. I don't know if you saw that on socials. One of the boys put up, he shot 60.
Yeah, that with Ross Desmond and Redknapp.
And Redknapp, yeah. He shot 60, they said.
Like 60 a bit, didn't he?
Decent.
So
that is very good.
I don't know how many under he was for this week, but it's a few under in his last 5 rounds.
18 under he was at Bermuda.
Oh, there you go.
Absolutely flying. So you mentioned the live there. We're about halfway through here, so we've got to get to the dark side. He's made it. Thomas Dietrich has made $1 million, but that's just peanuts these days. It's absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of the LIV Championship, but obviously follow the write-ups on it, and the aces, 16 million US.
So
adding to the pot.
I saw a stat that in his Dustin Johnson. He said for all of what's gone on and etc. I don't really care what people say. I got $100 million signing on bonus, and I made $35 million my first season.
Yeah,
it's madness, isn't it? It's absolute madness. They beat Team Punch. The Aces beat Team Punch. What a title that is.
Punch.
Good in the wind.
But Pat Perez came through, stepped up.
He was funny. Did you see him come out on socials as well? He goes, I know people have been ripping me all year, about what I've been up to and etc. And in the final round of the final, Josh, with the team championship, they took all 4 people's scores. So I think actually there was a couple of teams.
It was all match play, wasn't it? The first 2 rounds, and then the last round was stroke play, and they all counted.
And then all scores counted, And then I think Pat Perez has saved his best till last, because he shot 2 under in the final round and really come in and just cemented the Aces got it home. And he was like, who the fuck do you think you are now? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's kind of shot so
is that what he sounds like?
No, I don't think he's
I actually did.
I don't think he's from Lewisham.
He's a bit of a Ricky Bobby, isn't he?
Yeah, but yeah, no, it was quite funny that he pulled it out right when he needed to, and that was good bant.
I'll tell you what though, for LIV, The one thing I think they've done really well this year, and especially this week, is their scheduling up against the PGA Tour. Like, obviously, that is their weakest event, like you said, and this is their biggest event. So that's pretty clever, I think, how they've matched it up with them.
Yeah, kind of chunked away, but 50 million prize fund.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it?
It's mad, isn't it? But the team thing, I think, is coming through now. Like, you are starting to see that a little bit. There's been a little bit of shuffle around with how they're going to do the teams for next year, bringing in reserves and so forth. There's a bit more chat that's taken shape because that's where they're seeing like all the wins with it, really. When I was out in Dubai recently, and the people and most golfers there are from different nationalities, not necessarily like UK or from the US, have a different view on, you know, how they take in these teams and how they see it and so forth. And quite a few people said they've now got their team. They have a team they like, and that's the element they kind of gravitate towards, which I think is definitely a thing. I mean, I was actually looking through yesterday, thinking, if I had to pick a team, who would I pick? It's difficult because probably I would pick the Aces, but that's a bit like, oh, they won, so I'm going to pick that team. But genuinely, you know, I think they probably got the best story. Pat Perez, who just like, you know, he's like the fanboy hanging on, getting paid every week, and then hits one shot down at the very last event, takes all the glory. And then obviously you got Patrick Reed, who everyone loves to hate, and then DJ, I think, has actually come out pretty good in all this, not just from his own bank account point of view, but he's, you know, he's signed and he's not come back with any of the drama and tried to, like, you know, suck off the PGA Tour or go back and, you know, I say suck off, I mean, as in like kind of suck the money out of them and try and get into the lawsuits or whatever.
I don't think he's interested in it.
He's taken that view and he's gone, I've been paid and compensated to leave that tour.
Yeah.
And he's gone, fine, done. Which no one can begrudge that. But this whole like...
But I think if you asked him
I'm being compensated and then I'm going to go back and sue. I don't want to play as much. That's why I'm going to go and sign with LIV. But I'm going to go back and sue so I can play on the PGA Tour still. It makes no sense.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's got any interest in doing that. I think he
genuinely doesn't care.
No, I think
I've got 150 million in my bank account.
A lot of people.
Can everyone leave me alone?
A lot of people say, "Oh, you know, he seems like he's really simple." I think that's probably actually his underlying strength. I think he's just really pragmatic about it. If you turned around and had a conversation with him 1-to-1. If you said, how would you assess your PGA career? He said, I think I had a really good career. I won 25 times. I made $75 million on the PGA Tour. It was a stepping stone to a load of great things for me.
It was a stepping stone to come over him and negotiate 150 million.
How many times has Rory won?
Rory's 23 now.
And so DJ's won more than...
Mate, DJ has won. DJ's record on PGA Tour is so much more decorated than people think. He's won every single year he's been on tour. I mean, he had that run through COVID, didn't he, Zed, where he like won every other week. I think he won like 4 or 5 times in the space of like 3 months. You know, he's won major championships. Like, I think he's something like career earnings on course is something like $75 million on the PGA Tour. And then he's had an opportunity to now... He's our sort of age, so he's in his mid to late 30s. He's probably starting to think about managing his body more. And now someone's come along with a new concept that suits exactly what he wants to do. He's done everything in the game, technically. He's won a major. He's won multiple times on tour. You know, he's in the top 10 career money list. And then someone said, here's a $100 million signing on fee and an opportunity to win loads of cash if you play nice golf. And he's actually been in contention straight out the gates. Like, he's been I think he's finished in the top 5 pretty much in every single event as an individual. And then obviously the Aces have done very well as well. And I probably would be an Aces fan as well. Patrick Reed's kind of like the one. He's like the one.
24 PGA Tour wins.
24. There you go. 72 million, I reckon.
He's got 9 European Tour wins. He's on 70. Yeah, just shy of 75 million.
There you go. Get on that.
Couple of majors in there. I mean, he's been amazing, hasn't he? Really.
Yeah.
And all that seem he's in that bracket of players. Johnson,
number 1.
Rahm, Rory. I feel like I'm missing one here. Who are like, to me, they're all world number ones, just doing what they do.
Yeah.
You know, some players come through and they're in that purple patch. Like Scotty Scheffler feels like his purple patch took him to world number 1. Amazing. Justin Thomas sits in that category. Jordan Spieth sits in that category. Jason Day. On their day, they are the best in the world. But Rahm, Rory and Johnson, kind of like, just by being normal, that puts them in that bracket. Like, they don't have to, without their purple patch, they can be the best and stay there. And that's why they stay there the longest, I suppose.
Yeah.
Even like Brooks Koepka, for me, he's not a natural world number 1. He could have a really good stretch and be world number 1, but he's not a natural. Like, his C game is like not half as good as like Rory's C game or Dustin Johnson's C game.
Yeah, it was a bit like like someone like when Luke was number one or whatever, didn't he? You know, when you just get it.
It's the height of his powers. Yeah.
And whereby with DJ, I mean, I think he plays the game so nonchalantly anyway. Like when it's kind of like in his A or B game, he was just going to devour every field. And he went through a period like 2 years ago where you just watch him on a Sunday and he just devoured everybody. You know, he's still shooting 7, 8, 9 deep, like just like, yeah, man, like walking up the fairway like he did when he makes cookies. But you know, like just
it should be a section of the pod, James's impressions of players.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if they actually talk like that or not. It could become a reality.
Yeah, it's just the way I see it.
So how does he speak?
Yeah, man.
Sure.
Yeah, but like I mean, I'm a massive DJ fan. I think he's just such I think there's no part about his game that I don't think's not just completely impressive. And albeit he's a bomber, I think probably the most impressive part of his game is his wedge game. I think he just hits it stiff with a wedge all the time. And it would be really
his own hard work, by the way.
Yeah, and it would be really disappointing if he's gone to LIV, carried on playing the way he wants to play golf. He's obviously playing to a very high standard and he can't play in major championships. Like I still feel like his games, and I don't know what you think, Zed, but I still feel like on his day he can win any major.
100%.
I mean, of the current crop, he's been world number one for 135 weeks.
Wow.
Rory's been 108.
Is this total career?
Mm-hmm. To this point. I mean, which is, you know, he's won 2 majors where Rory's won 4, but still, for me, everyone goes, when Rory's on, he's the best in the world. I'm actually like, I do reserve a little bit of like, I think Dustin's him. They're very neck and neck. I think he should be in that. He's no better than Dustin if he was on.
No,
but weird enough, I don't think we see Dustin on as much. Maybe because he doesn't like. He seems like he's not bothered because he just canters along there and like, I can beat everybody being like this. He doesn't really win by like 10, 12 shots, does he? Where, you know, like Tiger, for instance, used to win by miles, where Jack Nicklaus didn't win by miles. And I think that's like Rory gets on it and he wins by 10 or 8 shots.
He's got more talent than Rory.
No, I think they're comparable.
Yeah.
I think now Rory's got a better wedge game. I think they're now neck and neck. When Rory didn't have his wedge game, for me, Dustin was a better player because that was the one bit that Dustin always had over him. Because Dustin can hit the ball as far as Rory can when he wants to, but he doesn't have to. But yeah, now they've got the wedge game. I think they're arguably the same golfer physically.
Yeah.
And how far they hit it and the type of game they play. But they're just different mentalities. And it's good and bad from both places. But talking about that week's number one, it should be James's part of the pod really with numbers and so forth. I'm just reading off my iPad. He probably has it all in his head. So Rory's 108. Dustin Johnson's 135 weeks at number one. Greg Norman's 331 weeks at world number one, which obviously handed that out to Rory recently, didn't he? But Tiger just gives it 683 weeks.
Okay, I thought it was 690.
At world number one.
Bosh.
He's so much better than everyone, isn't he?
I mean, that is
a joke.
That is mental. That's 12 whole years.
Will we ever get bored of talking about Tiger stats?
No,
never. But I feel like there's every week one will pop up on social media where you just can't believe it.
Yeah,
you're just like, nah, that can't be true.
Well, like Rory's at 10%. He wins 10% of the time, which is amazing. And Tiger, through his pump, was 25% of the time. It's mental how much better he was than everybody.
I saw he come in the top 3. I think it was in the space of however many years, at 49% of the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? Okay, here's a question for you.
It's a joke, isn't it?
There's one player on the world rankings who held the world number one spot for 1 week. Do you know who it is?
Martin Keimer?
No, he had it for 8 weeks.
Lee Westwood?
Lee Westwood had it for 22 weeks.
What nationality is he?
He's American. 1
week?
I could tell you the year that I actually watched him, the week that he became world number one for that 1 week, and it was in 1996.
96?
Payne Stewart?
No, it was never world number one.
Oh, man.
Mark Calcavecchia?
I was 5.
It's a decent shout, but no. Okay, so slight technical hitch. Got the card sorted again, so we're back on. And hopefully we're going to pick up from where we left off, which was what golfer was world number one for a week. And we've been trying to sort out the issue, we've still been trying to get it, and nobody's got it yet.
I've been so close to getting Google out as well.
Yeah, I know. How Gary Ogle, my mate.
So there's been loads of names banded around. No one's got it still. Okay, I'm trying to give you more clues. Say he He's been a Ryder Cup captain, a major champion, world number one for a week.
He's trying to make us sound stupid there now.
How
No,
Sutton?
not at all. No. Here's a big draw. He ran on the green at Brookline, and Sam Torrance referenced him and was really annoyed at him when Justin didn't hold that putt.
Larry Mize.
Nope. The amount of names that have come out and that have been off air. Used TaylorMade clubs, but didn't wear a TaylorMade hat. Through his pomp.
The old burner bubble shafts.
Yeah, he was right in the burner bubble era.
Oh.
And if I give you this next clue, which is the hat that he wore, which is the clothes he wore, you have to get it. He wore Dockers.
Mate,
Dockers. You must have had a pair of Dockers at some point.
Mate, I'm 31.
Yeah.
31.
No.
Oh,
They must have sold Dockers in the Chipstead Pro Shop.
maybe, mate. Or Walmart.
Dockers.
Ryder
Mate,
Cup
I'm
captain.
so lost there.
Let me find which Ryder Cup he was. I should probably know this.
I'm so lost. Big old Bobby Moore. Ryder Cup captain,
Tim McGraw.
British Open champion, and world number one for a week. I can't even name him.
TaylorMade.
He was captain at the K Club
Like,
in 2006.
All right, mate. We can't go on any longer.
No? James?
Nah.
Giving up?
Yeah.
Tom Lehman.
Oh,
my.
mate. Fuck.
Oh, I wonder if any listeners got that one.
They probably did about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, probably.
Going mad at us, pulling her hair out.
Yeah, so there we go. Tom Lehman, big draw. Remember the Burner Bubble, TaylorMade, one at Lytham.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. I can just see him.
You must have
I
got.
can see it now on the green. I can see
Can
the.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Well
There we
done.
go.
Not even sure. Do you even wear a hat, Tom Lehman?
Yeah, or Docker's hat.
Yeah.
When you see a picture of him that I'm looking at on the screen, you'll be like, oh, yeah, of course he did. You definitely would have got it.
Yeah. The big draw threw me a bit.
Yeah, well, it's opposite draw to you. You're a big drawer. It should have been a kindred spirit. Okay, so let's move on to. Has anyone played any golf this last couple of weeks?
I played at Beaverbrook in the roll up on Friday.
What, the Beaverbrook roll up?
Yeah, it was nice.
Go on then. What are they doing there? How much do they play for?
So everyone put a tenner in. I think there was a few players. I think it was about 300 quid in the pot in the end. So
Oh, it's quite big then.
Yeah, it was big.
Sounds bigger than their club championship.
Yeah, no, it was good. There was quite a few of us played.
Did you win?
I didn't win. I was 4 under, I believe. So only good enough for 35 points. We play off +5 there. So
Okay, James, you played a bit, have you?
Yeah, I played around a bit since we last come on. I played at the Win when we were in Vegas at the convention, which was nice. I had some guy roll into our convention. He was like, oh, you can play golf, can you? Play for $1,000 a hole. I was like,
Did you take them up on it?
I did, yeah.
Did you play for $1,000?
I think it bottomed out like $100 a hole by the time we got on the first tee. And he's like, oh, what's your handicap then? And, things like that.
it was Tom Lehman.
Yeah. No, his name was Ernie. He was actually
Burner Bubbles.
his name was Ernie, yeah. Not else, but but he's a really lovely guy. He
In Sesame Street.
could tell he liked to bet. He owned a casino
Oh,
on the bottom of the strip. So I was thinking, okay. And he was really interested in the concept, actually. I think he wants to become a GOAT. But yeah, no, and then I managed to beat him up 18, the famous par 3. So you get, depending on what tee box you're on, the prize for a hole-in-one starts at $8,000, and if you do it off the back box, it's $25,000.
They have someone there the whole time.
Because of the way it comes through the clubhouse, I think they run a camera off the off the building.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's about 170 yard shot from the third back box. You're on the $15,000 box, but it's water, lovely stream all the way going up the left-hand side. Then it feeds into a waterfall, like a water feature behind the greens. Very nice. But there's a front left pin, and I was like, how often does the pin move from here? Because it's just impossible to. It's like raised green, front left pin, bunkers.
Front left pin, you're getting
That's
nowhere
a
near
fade.
that.
I was going to say. That's a
It's left,
fader
it's a
shot.
big old left to right.
To be fair,
It's impossible. It's ridiculous.
to be fair,
Pitching near the pin goes in the wall back right.
to be fair,
Double off ball.
I'm right. I've gone right side of the box, and I've tried to. I've done the best thing I can do for a
You
fade.
tried to do your fade that still moves.
I did it, so I hit a 2-yard draw, yeah. Instead of a 15-yard draw, and I stiffed it. I hit it to 8 feet, which was nice.
So it wasn't impossible.
Well, it's 8 feet. No,
it was on then. It was on.
It's not on. No one else hit the green. So yeah, that was nice. And then buzzed out to Dubai. We were like ships in the night. I know you got in quite a few dens. I got out to a den there, which is great. Had a cart game with Crip, which is really good. Else was in really nice condition. I felt that as many times I've played it now, that was about as receptive as it's been. Like you could hold the ball in the greens and it's quite scoreable.
You picked that big old draw and it was stopped.
Big old draw. Yeah, no.
I can't wait to play on Friday. We're playing up at your place on Friday. I can't wait to just. I'm going to film some of those big old loopers and put the shot tracer on there. He's going to try so hard now to fade it.
Yeah, ball up fades. Yeah, Josh, I can't give you a lesson on Wednesday. How do I hold my hands off the whole way through?
But if you don't fade it, you'll be looking at the club face.
Yeah, what's that?
It'll be the club face's fault.
I think I've stopped doing it now.
Is that since we made the YouTube vids and you kind of saw your nuances?
No, I don't know. I feel like I'm moving all right at the moment, so hopefully we'll have a good game.
All right, cool. Very nice. Very nice. Awesome golf is a bit annoying.
Yeah.
The courses look lovely, don't they? But with the leaves falling off, if you miss a fairway, you just...
Yeah.
It's always this time of year where it would be like, I'd hate to be a member at Woburn. You ever played Woburn around this time of year?
So isn't it more pine needles though, isn't it not?
It's leaves and it's wet as well. And it's actually not a great time for Woburn, is it?
No, you can hit the ball down the fairway and like just never see your ball again.
Where is it we played somewhere had a leaf rule? I remember playing somewhere. And there was like, because of autumn, you can't lose your ball in the leaf. There is an actual rule. So you get like a little drop. Yeah.
Where is that?
I can't remember where that was. I'm sure we played somewhere.
Leafington
Not the
Spa.
Addington or someone somewhere.
Yeah, it might have been the Addington back in the day. They cleared all the trees out now.
That looks money now. Loads of people, when you see people put their photos up, looks really pure.
It is really coming along. It's still a little bit, loads of work to be done. They're like redoing loads of bunkers and stuff, but it's going to be such a great place. I was chatting to the owner, Ryan, on Friday, and he's got some really great ideas and plans for it. A lot of concepts from the American golf club system, because I think the Yanks just do it quite well. I think like in the UK, we're miles behind. Like it always gets me. I don't understand how we have PJ professionals that run a shop. Like that's their responsibility. It just makes no sense. And you see more proprietary owned golf clubs where the owners go in, let's get retail staff in the shop and then get the pro to go out and teach people how to play golf. And they should play golf as well with the members.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it is quite nice to go into the pro shop, have a little chat with your pro now and again, but you can do that in the bar.
Yeah.
Probably a better place. And it'd be better for the pro as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Rumour has it, Zed, on the golf catch up that you had a course record this week as well.
I don't know if it's course record, but I did shoot. I was 9 under and lost the match, which is ridiculous. It was the pairs match. I did, hopefully, Zade, who's one of our goats, hopefully listens to the podcast, because him and I have a match most weeks now. I did beat him in the singles, but in the pairs, him and his partner beat myself and my partner, which was just
Who was your partner?
I can't remember who I played with. The guys know I played quite a few matches this week, but yeah. But weird enough, they didn't play that great. Like it's not as if they were like loads under as well. They just ham and egged,
right? Like
really, really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the way it falls sometimes. That's golf, isn't it? But yeah,
what was the 2 courses you played?
We played Garden Church.
Wow. Okay, that's really good 9 under.
Yeah, which is the tricky one, isn't it? Really. So, oh well, back to the drawing board. Any new equipment this week?
Back to the drawing board.
Put him.
Any new equipment?
Yeah. Got an.
There he
actually,
comes.
hang on a second. I'll just make sure. Nicole don't listen to this, does she?
No.
She's definitely ain't listening to a golf podcast. Doesn't listen to me at home. So
send it to her there.
Yeah. Get on this, girl. About 56 minutes.
You don't have to listen to all of it. Just listen from.
I've been waiting to change my irons a little bit. I've kept trying these TaylorMades and I just sort of took the plunge to the I've gone for an MC and an MB 4 to 7 iron in the cavity and 8 to wedge in the blades. Yeah, they're just coming off really, really nice. And I was waiting to see if Titleist were going to replace the CBs and MBs. I tried the T100s. They come off really weird, like really, really low. So yeah, I've got a proper mixed bag now, which is a bit unlike me for my sort of OCD with golf equipment. But I've got kind of Pingwoods, Titleist driver, TaylorMade irons, Vokey wedges, And then I've played around in the garage with my Cameron putter now, my jet black one. So, and then
Played around in the garage. What does that mean? You butchered it, or you just had a little part?
Yeah, I did butcher it. I needed to take it to the shop to get it. I've got my old shaft cutter from which I've had for about 15 years, and I think the blade needs changing. So I had to take it, and he had to like repoint it properly.
Because it's not mess with the swing weight and the weight of the whole putter. You it down and stuff.
No, because I put like slightly lighter weights in the head, so they were 40s in the head of this putter, and I think 30. Sorry, now put 35s in, so it counterbalances a little bit, but it's fine. Yeah, so yeah, no, got my new jet black Cameron Newport ready for a run out.
Wait, so did you butcher the Cameron?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I paid 0.6 ETH for that. I bought it with ETH.
When what price?
Oh yeah,
It's cost him $4,000.
Yeah, cost him.
Or it cost him £100.
ETH was like 1140 or something. 1180. Yeah.
Okay.
That's Ethereum for anyone that's wondering. Cryptocurrency. Okay, nice. What about you? I haven't really got any new equipment as such. I've been bouncing around a couple of little bits for a couple of weeks. Nothing really new, but I did try out that Pro V1X
minus
with the left dash on it, and it was I shot 9 under, so it did work quite well. It's really firm. It was
the ball, wasn't you?
Yeah, it was the ball. It was the ball.
It's the ball.
Yeah, it went a bit further. It did go a bit further, and it launched a bit higher because I was using the black one before, which just come off like a piece of chewing gum, and then would go low, which felt with quite a bit of spin, and then so launch and spin doesn't go very far, does it?
No.
It's not a good combo. But it's great around the greens though, it feels really nice. But yeah, so slightly firmer feel, and that was mustard. That was really good, so probably stick with that one for a little while. But it's quite soft at the moment. That is the other part to it. Now, I did put on Instagram about getting a few questions in. I did get a few questions.
Oh dear.
Some of the listeners.
Some of the listeners.
Okay, here we go. Scott Reeson. If you could play one course for the rest of your life, what would it be? Sounded old. Always say that one. Josh?
It's a tough one for me. So I'd either go back to where I grew up and started.
What, Chipstead?
Yeah, mate, honestly. Yeah, because all my a lot of my good memories there growing up. But, Loch Lomond.
Loch Lomond. But yeah, when you climb in Cardiac Hill, you probably regret that.
I probably will.
Do it every day.
Yeah, I'll go Loch Lomond just for the whole experience.
James?
I would go to Sunningdale as well.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, Sunningdale Old is up there.
Okay, Flushy Bear, Mitchell Bly. If you could relive one golfing moment, which one would it be and why?
What, personal or like just any, or
yeah, any golfing moment, I suppose. It's quite general that.
If I could relive it again, viewing in would probably be Tiger's 97 Masters. That made me look at golf completely differently. I was 11 years old. It was just monumental, just to how if you think where he was after 9 holes and then where he was after 72, I would love to just be able to go and watch that live again, knowing what I know or doing what I've done as a golf fan. From a personal perspective.
So going back and watching that, knowing what is about to happen.
Well, yeah, just
having
being
that foresight.
Yeah.
This is where it all starts.
Yeah, and then just knowing obviously the illustrious career that he's had after that. I mean, he'd won the US Amateur twice before that anyway, so people had earmarked him as being the next big thing. But to go and just strangle the golf world and just say, I'm here now, like I'm taking control of this situation. It would. I'd love to be able to go and witness that live again. Yeah.
Josh?
Final stage of Q School, 16th hole, 3-wood plugged in a bunker.
What, you hit 3 out the bunker?
No, I hit 3-wood from the middle of the fairway.
Cheers.
Needed to make one more birdie. And the pin was at the front and the bunker was at the front and it plugged right under the lip. So what I would probably do is just I struck it a little bit at the bottom. I would just like to hit that shot again if that's all right. Is that all right? Can I do that again, please, Mitch?
It wouldn't plug twice in a row, would it? That's ridiculous.
Can't do.
What's the chance of that? What's the chances?
And you got that 5-wood now. I
know. I just want to go back.
Well, to relive it, not to change it, I would tee off the first again in the Open Championship at St Andrews. That would be quite a nice moment. The next,
there we go.
Jimmy Broncos. He said, what a great name that is, by the way. What's the best platform for amateur competitions right now?
Clutch.
Okay.
They just do it really, really well, actually. And they and they give amateurs of all standards an opportunity to be in a field with professionals and feel like they're very welcome. So
is this in general, like for him to go and playing over here?
It could be. Well, it doesn't say what level of amateur.
I think college golf, mate, in the US.
If it's for top.
but if you're an elite player, I mean that's and
Clutch
that's
is elite, though, isn't it?
put them.
Clutch is elite, no?
But I think an amateur like my age can play clutch. Like I'm not, you got to be in the right age range to go to college.
Still scratch handicap.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we're going to study, we're like Jack, Robin Williams, fart in a biscuit tin. Go on, get on that.
Oh dear.
Oh my God.
I'm going to say, yeah. I mean, for elite players, it's got to be the college system. That's the best.
Yeah.
If you're that committed, James, if you want to make it, you're going to have to go out to college.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Give up the big bucks
Do Ethereum studies
and go and eat pot noodles again. Around that, it's going to be, if we ever get it sorted, the Bear Tiger Bear events. They're going to be amazing. So let's go with that one.
Yeah.
Sam Howarth has asked what's in the bag. My what's in the bag right now is a Callaway Rogue driver, 9-degree Ventus blue shaft. I've got a Rogue 3-wood. I've got an Apex hybrid. I'm dancing between the Callaway Legacy Black Irons and the MB Raws at the moment. And then I've got a Vokey 56 sand wedge, which the back has been shaved off, which I bought from Replay Golf secondhand. It might actually be someone we know. And then putter, I'm switching between the Newport Scotty Cameron and I don't know, some Toulon putter. I don't know the name
San
of it.
Diego.
Is that the one with the round?
Yeah. Is it San Diego?
Yeah, maybe San Diego, yeah. And the Pro V1X left dash. Josh?
Mine is still the same as the video we done on our YouTube. So that's still on there.
Go and watch it there.
Yeah.
James?
I haven't done my what's in the bag yet, and I'm just about to wait for our TSR head to come in for the Titleist driver TSR.
Weird actually, the one of the guys from Titleist just texted me saying, do you want to try the TSR?
Here we go.
There we go.
Yeah, just say, you're left-handed now, 10 degrees.
He also ain't done his what's in the bag because he wants to wait for the dust to settle with Nicole until he tells her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I changed this year to Ping G425 3 and 5 wood, the heads, but I've used the same shaft for a long time now. Acra 3 wood shaft and a Ventus red. Then, like we just said, 4 to pitch and wedge now, TaylorMade MB hybrids, Vokey SM9 wedges, and I'm flirting between a Scotty Phantom 5.5 and a Newport 2.
Nice, like it. What ball?
I use a normal Pro V1. I hit it quite high, so it's quite good for me to flatten it out a bit.
What ball do you use, Josh?
I use the black one.
The black one. And we've got loads of Bear Tiger ones of those, so
Yeah.
happy days there. Bosh, all right, nice. That's really good.
Good questions.
Any Bear Tiger chat? What's coming up next?
Yeah, we've got a few things on the periphery now. I think we're looking potentially at a December launch for the public memberships to become a bit more available outside of the invite pre-sale model. We have got a couple of events brewing. There is a meet-up in Dubai we're going to with a couple of the goats, Zed, in November, I think, which is around England's first game in the World Cup as well, with a game of golf and a dinner, which will be really good. And then there's an actual Bear Tiger trip to the Dubai Desert Classic next January that's now under the making. And I think we've got a meet-up on December the 16th for a Christmas gig. And we are just in the very, very early stages, so I won't say too much, but more in line with what the project's coming about in regards to the gaming side of things. Zane and I are going to host an event.
We're going to meet in the metaverse.
We are. We're going to host an event in London, which will be very focused around how people can interact with Bear Tiger Club through a gaming mechanism, some Oculus headsets, some simulated golf, some Tiger Woods 2K23 on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, we've got some great ideas. We just need to speak to the venue and ask them if it's even all right yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has the potential of being a really cool evening. And then some of the Bears have been in the Discord and arranged their own games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so a few people have been and got some games in. There's a lad in there, funnily enough, called JS as well. He's 14 JS. He's really loving it at the moment.
Left-handed.
Yeah.
Blonde hair.
Yeah.
Massive draws.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, it's not. His name's Josh as well, funnily enough. And yeah, and he's I think he's hosted a couple of games. They had a meet up down at Silvermere at the start of the month, which is great. That is everything that it's all about.
We need to actually we'll do that. We'll have like a little range evening.
Yeah, lovely.
Hit some balls, few beers for people who like to drink the amber nectar.
The
And then
beers.
just get those going, really. That would be, especially now we're coming into the winter, you know, now the clock's gone back, it's dark a bit earlier, so the range golf becomes a bit of a thing. Getting the top tracer.
Yeah, well, it's just whether or not you'll be able to hit any balls, you'll end up giving tips to 10 people.
Yeah, I don't give tips for free.
First one's free.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, so yeah, more to come. It's building up, and we're going to do some mini podcasts on what's coming up in the Bear Tiger. Guys, is there anything else you want to talk about?
All good here, mate. What about any heads off this week? Any of them?
Any heads gons? James normally has a heads gone.
Heads gone, James?
I've had a heads gone my neighbour over the driveway, but we're all right. We're
Do you want to divulge, or in case he's listening, you're going to keep it to yourself? Keep it confidential.
I couldn't give a fuck if he's listening.
Strong words. Sounds like violence.
No. He just
Not yet. Not yet.
he just jumped out and had a bit of a bark at Ivy and Theo, like when they were walking down the driveway on the way home from school. And
Was he a dog?
no, well, maybe.
Keep bounding over.
Yeah. But no, we've I think obviously Mark and I have declared our kind of construction woes of what's been going on since the summer, and we're completely repointing and redoing our entire driveway, and had to have trees out, and had to put 75 metres of new pipe in because the foul pipe had all
That
blown
sounds so
up.
cheap.
So yeah,
that's cool.
so yeah.
Mine's a bit more light-hearted than that. Light-hearted than that. So we went to a fancy dress, obviously, being Halloween party. Done all my own makeup, face makeup.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
All your own bits?
Mate, come on, you know art now. Come on,
They're not drawing a clown on your face.
yeah,
What's that got to do with?
easy.
Hey, that's decent to be fair.
I wasn't trying to draw a connect.
So it was just to paint a picture for those. Because I was at the Halloween party with Josh, getting pizzaed up. He did the Joaquin Phoenix version of the Joker, didn't you?
Correct, yeah.
Joaquin Neiman.
Yeah, the second
Joker.
one. But obviously, if people know me, I've got a bit of an egghead, so no hair. So I drew a hairline on. So I got Sam, my little boy, this hairspray for his hair to go green. So I thought, if I just spray that on my scalp, like, it'd be fine. Right. So I've just to take the time away. So I sprayed it all on my scalp, but it comes out of hair easily, but it doesn't really come off of skin easily. So I was just like, I'll say it don't sound great, but rubbing my head in the shower for a long time to get it off. And yeah. That
Do you
was a
shampoo?
bit- Yeah, shampoo. First time I shampooed my head in a while. But yeah, that was a long shower. So that's my head's gone.
The funniest thing about this party was everybody went up to Josh and said, "Oh yeah, your makeup looks really good." He's like, "Oh," but everyone kept saying, "It's like, oh yeah, it looks like you got no hair." And he's like, "What are you all talking about? I had no hair for ages."
Yeah, literally.
It's like,
But I did dedicate. I had a shave. I hadn't had a clean shave in a long time. So
oh yeah, it is. Yeah, that's it.
I actually looked 31 for once.
Yeah, no, you come completely clean shaven. I was
Nice
thinking
and
something
fresh.
looks different, but yeah, it's the old beard, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, my head's gone probably the leaves while playing golf. It just slows you down, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wander around, hitting the ball in a spot on the hole where you can normally walk straight up to it, and now you're like, you haven't reloaded. And you walk around, and then the first minute you're like, "Oh, we'll find it," and then
I can hear
now
the
the 3
noise in my
minute
head of your feet going through the leaves.
yeah, and then you think, "Oh shit, I've only got 3 minutes." And you start panicking and kicking them all out of the way. It's got to be here somewhere.
How much leaf banter jokes are you getting as well? Oh, leaf it out. Oh, you're getting all those ones. Leaf it out left.
No, I know.
I bet you did.
Anyway, that's cool.
It's probably a good time to leaf it.
Tumbleweed.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's not a leaf, is it? I don't believe it. Right, so, okay, like, subscribe, all the good stuff, James.
Yeah, Leafly Show.
At beartiger.io if you want to check out the website, what we're doing.
Leave a comment.
At Bear Tiger on Instagram and Twitter. And then now's a TikTok.
There is.
I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah, there's now a TikTok channel, which is all the same.
Is
Bear
that
Tiger Club.
at Bear Tiger?
We're at Bear Tiger Club across all socials.
There you go. All right, cool. Hope everyone has a good week and chat to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.